Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at property address 1109 Johnson Street here in Oregon City. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the house or front door. We are off to the left of the front door. The clean out here, looks like a 3-inch cast iron clean out, is underneath the furthest window to the left of the front doorway. We're at the base of it right now. We're zeroed out and again checking the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. And off we go. And I'll show the access point here in just a second. It was just kind of a tricky one to drop into at first. Swapped over to ABS plastic immediately upon access. Transitioning here to 3034 PVC pipe, and we're in 4-inch diameter pipe right now. All right, now we're swapping back over here. It's hard to tell sometimes on camera. This may very well be HDPE. Usually when you start getting into the right-of-way, it's not ABS anymore, but it looks very similar. All right, went back and forth there again to 3034. That is an immaculate looking sewer line there. Absolutely spotless clean. Thus far, there's hardly a thing about this I can even try to nitpick. So we're going to go locate the camera head here really quick while the line drains. We'll pull back in and take one more look at it. All right, located the camera head successfully. Line terminates out on Johnson Street. So just based on those locates, I just took there and kind of how the line visually turns and straightens out. Line looks like it jaunts over under the driveway and then shoots off, or near it anyway. It may cross through the gravel area at the front, but by the time the line hits the main, it lines up pretty nicely with the right side portion of the driveway. The driveway just doesn't look like it's been chopped up here. That's why I'm not entirely... But they do have some pretty sweet trenchless options nowadays and boring machines that sometimes can install this stuff without tearing up all the concrete. That very nicely installed line. The other really nice thing about this line is the people living here have treated it nicely. There is essentially zero grease buildup in the line. My camera right now is upside down, so the bottom of the pipe is top of screen. You can see a little thin layer of kind of a yellowish brown substance. It's a very, very minor example of grease buildup. If you aren't careful and you dump all your pans down the sink, all the grease and oil, it can build up incredibly quickly. I've had houses where I've done warranty scopes on brand new construction 10 months later and seen inch thick layers of grease throughout the whole line. So what you want to do is let your pans cool down, scrape the grease off into a garbage can or wipe it out with a paper towel, or pour it into a jar while it's still hot in a liquid state. That's when you've got enough oil on your pans that if you were to turn that pan sideways, there's enough on there that it runs off the pan or flows off the pan. It's at that point you want to do something about it. A thin little coating of PAM spray, you don't need to lose your mind over. Just always use hot water and soap. And one of the keys to making sure it doesn't get hung up in the line if some does get down there is make sure your hot water stays running for about 30 seconds to a minute after your last dish was washed. That helps to ensure everything that did get down there stays melted and emulsified until it gets out to the main, or at least a good distance from the house. But this does look like a line that was bored in. The turns we just went through there are so nice and smooth. That can't be accomplished with regular piping, which have very, you know, rigid turns, 22.5s, 45s, 90s. But that has a very nice sweeping bend to it, which is a hallmark feature of a drilled-in line. So that right there is a thing of beauty. You can see what gets a sewer scope guy excited. Fabulous looking sewer line. Great flow end to end, spotless clean. Every inch of it's in great shape. The interior pipe I can't scope. This cleanout doesn't allow you to go backwards. But the home inspector will be able to tell if you've got any older cast iron under the house or if it's been updated or not. As for my end of things, line is functioning properly at this time. Anyway, the grease thing, I kind of got on the tangent there and forgot to explain. Grease is a massive contributing factor to blockages occurring. It makes your line sticky, malleable. It slows the speed down of everything moving through it, and when stuff does stop up mid-span, it gets stuck to it. It's especially problematic when you have little ones that are still wadding up their toilet paper like softballs. It helps to prevent a lot of stuff that would otherwise make its way to the main from getting stuck in the line. So it's a very good it's in fact about the only thing you can do to maintain your sewer line. Otherwise you're at the will of nature and what nature wants to do with it. So